Coming up next on Access LaPorte County, the April 5th, 2022 meeting of the Long Beach Fire Commission. You can find more information for this organization at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Anyway, I think we can get going.
Okay.
I've got the agenda up on the screen for everybody to see if you don't have one. Essentially, what we were trying to touch base on tonight, three major areas: obviously the fire station remodeling, the equipment purchases, and then just a couple of reporting items down at the bottom. The remodeling, we met a couple of weeks back with one of the contractors that we'd like to include. We met a couple of weeks ago with one of the contractors that we'd like to include in this bidding process. I can't remember which or both of you were at that meeting. Maybe either one. Somebody else wants to get in? Yeah, he's coming. But at any rate, so it's a fairly complex bidding process that the state now allows. It hasn't been too long with it allowing it. Maybe you guys are familiar with the agenda. Essentially, it allows us to go out for a design build contract. If you recall, we did that at Chester a couple of years ago. This is a little different. It's actually by state code, it's got some requirements. There are things like, I'll just write about it, I'll to you. We have to do what's called an RFQ. That's when you invite contractors in to become a part of the process. We have to have a design criteria team, which you guys are welcome to be a part of. That's where we kind of set the parameters of the project to our general scope, sort of situation. And Doug, if you'd be willing to help with that, that would be really great. And then we have to have a scoring criteria for the contractors we've invited into this. They provide a proposal to us. And then we do a requisition at that point for proposals, I should say. Then they provide a proposal. And then there's qualitative and quantitative criteria that the design criteria developer uses to either choose one or the other of those, or three, or however we wind up with. So the kind of contractors we're probably talking about would be like Tom Blank and Larson Danielson. Larson Danielson's the one we met a couple of weeks ago. He's the one that's kind of gave us the framework for this. I thought I sent that to everybody. If I didn't, I will send it to you. He's given us like a framework. Okay, I'll send it to you. So at this point, what we have to do, whoever wants to serve on that design criteria, is come up with a scope, a rough scope. To that end, after talking to Larson Danielson, we have to revisit the survey. John, you had a comment on that. I did send you that quote, I think, guys. We don't need a soils report. The soils out there are all saying that we really don't have any soil issues per se, but a survey does have to be refreshed. We got that quote for $7,000 or $8,000, $6,900 from the guy that did it last time.
What exactly is the survey going to accomplish? It says it's not going to be a four-corner survey.
It's got what we're asking for is elevations, and also he's got to replot the rights of way that are included in the footprint or near the footprint of the building. So there's actually a street that runs east and west, and an alleyway that runs east and west, and then the access that goes into that guy's driveway runs north and south. So we just have to make sure we got those staked and surveyed. And then in addition to that, for purposes of,
Where is the location? North of the station now?
Yeah. So north of the
Straight north.
Oh, the parking lot. Yeah, and I can get to bring you guys out there, we can walk it. So originally we had a north-south building proposed with drive-through bays. We've talked with our group here, we've talked about potentially turning that building to face north and then just backing like we do now. That would give us a little better access in terms of turn radius to get in and out. So we're still tossing that around. One of the things we want to include is knocking down the old brick building that Mark uses, the police use, and giving him a lean-to addition to our structure so he's got some usable space. Right now it's crammed full of SUVs and, some of the slides in there, but that's about all that goes in it. So in terms of, about that, I'll answer any question you have about that. The contractors will have to invite a couple of them, but we're not quite there yet. We have to fill out this, this framework first and then get it over to them, then they come in with
Do
proposals.
we invite, so like a public bid?
Yeah, this process was different than when we did Chester, that was kind of our own off the cuff. This is a more structured, Larson Daniels, that had done with other partners. It's an actual, Indiana code structured process. So it's legal. There are some requirements as far as the paperwork and how we do it, and these teams that have been formed on that. So I'll share that with you. He gave me the one that they used for the one local work.
Okay.
Okay, we've got two things going. I'm gonna mute your one to see if you can open up your other one. Can you unmute your phone?
Can you hear me now?
One of them needs to be muted or faced away from your microphone.
Can you hear me?
And I think if you turn your away from your computer speaker, that might do it.
All right, can you hear me?
That's working just fine.
I'm going to come down to the town center.
Do you have any input on this? I don't know if you guys, this may have been new enough that it wasn't going on when you were working, but this public design build concept. Did he say he's coming?
It's left, good.
Okay. At any rate, so timeframe wise, I think we could still think about, like fall construction, hopefully or break down, all possibly, because the way it was explained to us by Larson Daniels, so this is a relatively duration process. So hopefully we can get the paperwork started. And was that your understanding?
Yeah, but I was going to say, but we got to do some upfront work on our side. We got to form a committee, we got to create the design. Next week, we had a plan to go take a visit down at Forts Fire Station. Forts Fire Station in the same concept, design build. So we're going to go on through to see what they've done. We have all their paperwork, we have the contract, they did the RFP process that the city of Fort did, as an example. And so we're going to walk through their station next week. Just on
So this has to include, obviously, the approval of the town council.
Oh, yeah. So there's a part of the original, part of the early process is the town council has to adopt this contract.
So they ultimately, the dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And so back to one of our original conversations, doesn't make sense if you're going to be building a lead-to for the police department, should we throw this under town hall? Or should we segregate it as fire? I mean, it seems to me that we're upgrading the town hall, the fact that it should be categorized as that, in my opinion. And I don't know what else we should consider in terms of.
Well, we talked about okay, so if you can imagine the two truck bays that we're currently using, right, we're going to be in the meeting, and they'll be probably half again as big as this. If you include the rest of the three bay. And we can knock it all down, make that agree. So yeah, there it is. Make it multi-use so that the town can use it for something as well.
Right, so I think when I think about this fire department, meeting room, all this different information, it really ought to be a bigger picture, which I think is the town and town hall, and upgrading this facility to include the fire department. And all of that should be wrapped into the same category, that line item, as we're doing these things. That's just my opinion.
Well, if you go where the bays are, I say, that's going to be like a community center building or facility.
We still need to be able to we can make it something that's useful.
I was going to say, it's going to be this bigger than this, right? There could be almost our house meetings that are in this, could be another office.
Just the offices,
Or whoever.
I mean, those guys are pretty cramped in there today.
No question. That's a great thought. And really, when you build a metal building, this is what we're doing. additional square footage is marginally not very expensive. So if we take that thing to a larger size, no matter what we do, with the old station square footage, we could, do whatever we want as far as square footage. It's not gonna be that much more expensive.
I just think we should address the entire town hall in terms of upgrades,
I think that's a good idea.
and then call it that. Town hall improvements, or whatever you call it, and start pull that out of the fire. So now the fire equipment, that's a separate building.
Well, that's fine.
I'm just,
And then who would write the process, and we think we toss that back to the council, but then write it.
I think to a large extent, it should be the town council. I think, obviously, Chief Swiss are now our town administrator, who gets to be on that. I think, they're just responsible for it. Maybe not.
He gave us. All right.
When it happens, when it happens, just show up.
We're still watching your.
I can see that, it's the basement. I was hoping to it later.
So what you missed was, this method, I don't know if this was even legal or going on back in your business.
Yes, but I believe there's been some clarification to the legislation. We used the process similar to this at the Michigan City Public Library in the last, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, so we'll have a little bit of familiarity.
Since you were in your travels, Mike brought up, maybe we would try to incorporate this whole construction project as more of an umbrella controlled by the council, such that we would do more town, not just the fire station, increasing size, but maybe make the meeting a little bigger or indoor.
Fire, the police department.
I think the concept is what is, I agree, I think, we're gonna do it, spend this very money, instead of more, but do it right and get it done, over with, and faster, right?
I've got to with that those big. So this is really problem. This is not change.
So this is the original, the existing fire station. This was the proposed north-south access building. Doug, we're talking about potentially, eight departments do drive-through bays. The problem with our guys is we don't drive those things every day. I'm kind of of the opinion that backing in with mirrors rather than pulling through as many, safer. So anyway, we're gonna get wider doors, but maybe we would spin this so we have easier access from turning rails.
And where's the town hall?
Town hall goes over to,
But it's not there.
no, there's a sidewalk between. We cannot get out there.
What else is there?
If we want to do something more, we want to do something more grandiose, more power to us, if we spin this and then maybe, rather than just our base, the problem is we're limited somewhat. That there is private property, so that little garage that I'm talking about, where the police have their stuff, is basically right here. So we have that space available to us, but then you get to private property right there. Now, the lot itself, we can go farther out.
The pizza place right there.
Pizza place would be about there. So there's, we're such an early stage, we can do whatever we want, right? And as I mentioned, and Doug can verify, basically a metal building, once you put up a metal building, an additional 3,000 square feet is marginally less expensive than anything else, really. Because that was the original plan, but now if you guys are talking about wanting more space for more, so the cost, I mean, I haven't asked Mark, when we said to the police, we're doing about Mark, that whole brick building is kind of, it's not big enough for what they need. So we said, hey, when we were gonna do this concept, let's do a lean-to over here, brand new, the drive out or whatever. But if we do this new scheme and turn it this, we can certainly bump the fire department out and gain some space through here. So there's lots of ways to speak.
I just think we should probably address all of our needs.
Yeah. So
to include whatever might need to be done here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those are good thoughts. Well, this building, that's just my personal opinion. It's a sort of, sure, it's usually. Yeah, but now it's just a pain in the ass. Well, then you're wrong.
No, so did that take away out of the story?
I think that's something actually had a historical concept of whatever they did to the school, they wouldn't do it here because it would change it too much. But they modeled that.
Well, the remodeling had to be within the historical context.
Yes, I would assume so, yeah.
So they put it down,
Now, we couldn't change this to the national register,
oh, that.
that's why I think that's when they put the, community building in, remember, 2-3 years ago?
So that's part of the historic record of this.
But they wouldn't do this.
Well, that's good, maybe then we can do some more things.
Good, also, yeah.
All right, well then, okay, so if we're gonna go down this road, we get a couple of issues, you know, part of what drives the fire department is our equipment. In fact, we just had our new truck, which is what, 30 years old, how old is it?
Your truck is 22 years.
Yeah, about 20 years old. We just had another issue when we trained last night. So, you know, as we've done for, you know, numerous decades now, we've been asking for newer equipment. So, getting so the only thing I would say, there's going to be this tension between how long we nurse the fire equipment versus how much time we spend on
Safety improvement on these, trucks, don't have to be
25 years.
well, right, yeah, we're already at the, on the one, and then we shortly will be at the,
Measure one is beyond exactly.
Somebody passed the, whatever test that had.
but we still do those. I mean, we're required to do annual tests, but as far as the NFPA recommendations, we're already far behind that. I won't forget. We do the tests on even both old or so they're certified, so to speak, from that. But what happens to us is like, you know, time. I mean, we've had one of the top of the pump throws a fitting, you know.
That's probably.
That's unusual. So anyway, so my point there, Blake, is, you know, in terms of time frame, and who drives this? What are your thoughts? I mean, if we want to make, you know, I can just imagine the council getting involved now. How are we going to define the scope at that point, and what are these and all that, and what do you foresee for process?
Well, I mean, the reality of what we've done is we've approved a 5-year capital plan, which is going to be updated on an annual basis. Any individual purchases that the town makes will be brought to town council based on that individual expenditure. This is a little more complicated. We don't know this at a cost. We don't even have final numbers, and a lot of the items that are in the capital plan, they're rough numbers, right? Right. So the reality of the matter is, and then we get down to other discussions which we've all been involved in, which is how we funding all this. Is it coming out of reserves? Some of it is it being financed? Some of it is. There's some timing of financing relative to other things that should get service. And so we get into these timing issues, and right now, to me, it's not an exact picture. It's a little fuzzy.
You mean the finances?
The finance part of it is a little fuzzy. We don't have total some of these things cost. We don't know what fire engine you're gonna buy, what you're recommending on that. And then ultimately, when you look at all these expenditures, how are we paying for it?
Well, that's all I'm prepared for, of course, it's a catch-22. When do we start the process, and what's your
We
suggestion?
gotta start the process, kind of with the cost. We gotta write the price.
Right.
That's where I think we are.
Right. So how are we gonna do this now that we're not gonna call the fire department, we're gonna try to reduce everything from
I think we can
remodeling?
still move forward. This is a separate project. I think ultimately I would move the line item. We're getting into semantics right now. Move the line item under the town council, from the top town hall as our building expenses, and not have it as part of the fire department. That's all I'm suggesting. And that's, again, I'm getting into, you know, esoteric sort of issues, but I think that's where it belongs. We're going to be doing more in this fire department, we could be doing something for the police department, we could be doing something for this building. Ultimately, I think we need to think about that, but it all rolls into the same capital. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there's just a total for every year. We're gonna update it every year.
I'm following you all the way through. What you're saying. We're gonna talk about. But one of my issues is time is entered the picture because of the age of the equipment that we have. A truck is a year out from order, and if we push this out 5 more years, God knows what we're gonna be able to do. We've got 2
I'm
trucks.
not suggesting that, I'm just saying that in order for us to make a decision, town council, which is what we said we're gonna do, right? And we need to know what it costs, okay? We don't know that.
No, but you can't know what it costs until you define the scope and get these guys.
I'm saying we're gonna do that. I'm saying we should proceed with that.
Okay.
I'm on the same page.
Do we have an architect or somebody that does these drawings, or how, what's the building around?
Well, that's the construction deal. You either hire an architect, do all your scope work with the architect, and then you go out for bids for a contractor or a construction management contract. And then you build a building. The problem with that delivery method is somebody has to watch over the project.
Right, and so if we go to the way you're talking about, who's going to design it all?
They'll do it all. We have to give them high level specs of what we want, and they will come back with a proposal, and with the architect, that's the design piece of it. Right in the bill, to run the management area. So design build.
And then ultimately, here's the cost.
Right. And then, yes, we have to give them the high level specs, then they can give us the cost. We can tell them, here's what our budget is. That's what they did before, they said, not to exceed a certain amount. And then they go
Yeah,
out.
that, and when you'll limit what kind of building you put.
Yeah.
And how big, or that.
And again, this is not high dollars construction. No buildings are right.
Right.
But if we choose to do more, on our high level specs, if we choose to introduce some new concepts, like, okay, the police department needs, what is this? This is, called 80 by 40, so that's 3,200 square feet.
And I'm not saying hold this project up for the police department or for this, I'm just saying, identify our bills, our properties, that's all I'm saying. So we should proceed, figure out what this is going to cost, and then make a decision at town council to include how we pay for it.
But I don't have a problem talking to Mark and saying, hey, how much square footage do you think you might want if we got that little building? I don't disagree. I don't necessarily. We can do that at both places.
And out there, talk about fair being, that kind of stuff. We just have to put it in high level specs for these guys, and they're from
That's why they don't have to design it.
Yeah, so we can spin this building and come off of this existing building with some square footage for Mark, or for the police, or for whatever we decide to want to put on.
Right.
So that we have that luxury because we have, as opposed to this concept where we kind of run out of room on the north end. We spin this, we do have some flexibility going north, but as I mentioned, to get, 2 trucks plus a couple smaller trucks, we will run out of public property this side of the structure, but that doesn't mean we can't go in front of some of the pizza place if we choose to. And we can, again, go over.
All right, we're going to do this, we're back to the survey, we got to get the survey down.
Yeah, the survey is critical to start the process with the contractors, because they,
We're going to show you what the space you have available, and how you're going to utilize that space.
and then in addition, Jen, for the site work, do we need to lower the building, raise the building? How are we going to get it out there, the elevation, and all that, it's true. And that's part of it. Oh, you made a comment about the cost of the survey, and yeah,
I did several surveys, we surveyed 300 acre farms. That's how long fields all this average 4,000.
but we got to go.
They are need by far better than
Tom Associates was the original surveyor. I got to Faye and said, do you remember anything about, I think maybe Tom did that, we also did it. So Tom did it for Fanny and Howard did this. So I want to talk to them both, so I know you know. With Tom, there's now they're called, M&A or something. It's a big conglomerate now. At any rate, they ordered us to refresh that survey about 69.
So John is concerned that's a little steep. The only thing is, I think if you start fresh for a survey of that type, I think you will probably get to those dollars.
I think you probably will too.
But I mean, we can entertain it.
I mean, you know, it's a different market up there.
Well, the level of details is a little different too. But, you know, I don't have a problem. If anybody's got a survey they don't, Fate won't do it, he's 12 weeks out to even start. So Tom said he can get to it. So I kind of thought it was, I don't do it. Well, I mean, if you want to,
You know, I don't want different land.
well, I'm not, you know, you make a good point. And if there's somebody, the only other one that I know locally is Global. They're Global, Global,
It's all SAM companies, SAM.
yeah, that's what, yeah. But we can certainly, you know, like I said, Faith does a lot of work out here. Doyle is another guy that could probably do it.
Yeah.
If you want me to get in that trouble more, I'm just like, do it.
Just ask and see if they do it. I got it. We'll be dealing with somebody, I think I would check that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine.
I mean, if it's, you know, if there were a few $100 up here, then it was 4,000 versus 69, I don't know that I care.
No, I'm with you. Well, let's try it. So for marching orders for leaving this meeting, then we will start the paperwork. I'll get that paperwork to you guys. We'll talk to the contractors, get them invited, if we can get that far, I don't know what we're doing. But then we'll still have to do this, and I'll talk to Mark and see if he wants what he's got now, or if he wants double that, or try it from there.
So our design review committee, or design spec committee, right now, we talked about you, me, and Dan Kirk doing that, and with Doug. Is there anybody else that we want to involve directly in it?
I don't know, if you guys want to be involved with this, so I really do bring it to the table.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're trying to keep a nucleus, but we want to have somebody smart enough to still lock in.
Well, it's not like science, no, yes, no, you know, before we get to the point where we're asking for numbers, you guys have to sit down and look at what we have. Yep, we're gonna be sketches. That's the goal.
Again, we're going to visit the fire station next week just to get a sense for how they went through the process before. You know, this is a new process for us, so.
Right.
But again, we have the high level specs for them. And I read the report thing, it was really all, you know, I need a bath, I need a stair, you know, it was,
That starts something.
yeah, and then they take it from there.
Right. Okay, so we'll probably set a meeting for the group to get together, and get some high level stuff. I'll try, if you send me your guy and where you think is a good surveyor, I'll try to
I'll call them and see if they're interested in that.
So that'll take those two things off the table, which is good, and that's really all I had on this, unless somebody else has questions. Quick purchases, you guys kind of know the drill on that. We're going down to FDIC, which we told you, we've done that before, that's the show on our way here. We go down there and canvass the manufacturers and see what it is with them.
Almost all new trucks, or they have used trucks, or
Well,
probably used trucks.
I was gonna say, used fire truck market is kind of fun. I'll give you an example, when you go out the side, maybe I told you this before, when you go out the South Dakota, you're on I-80, you're heading out to Rapid City. There's a fire truck stuck in the mud at every exit, and it's because there's a guy that owns a brewery, restaurant in Rapid City, it's a corner farm, and that's his advertising, he's literally stuck in his fire trucks. It's like fire truck damage, all the way on I-80. It's really good advertising, but they are really not here.
I think what we need to do though is when we come in with numbers for fire trucks, whatever you want to call it, I think there has to be some consideration for why are we choosing a new machine versus when it's 5 years old. You know, just because you can't find one that's 5 years old, then that's really the answer to that question. But the reality of the matter is, when you guys come back for the big truck or the rescue vehicle, I don't care which one, what are we looking at in terms of alternatives? The way I'm looking at this is, when we talk about the 25 years certification, or at some point in time, you can't really use that equipment anymore, or it's just too old, it's just requiring too many repairs. is there a world that says, here's, within that 15 to 25-year period of vehicles of age, what are the alternatives, what are the costs, and what kind of financial decision can we make? Or are we only saying that we're only gonna buy a brand new fire engine and not have alternative things?
Well, there's a huge market, there's no question. I think we don't do that with SWATs, we don't do that with Tom's equipment, we don't do that in any other arena in our first.
I understand, but now we're talking 6 figures. And for a police car, we're talking $50 grand.
But the turnover is 30 years on a fire truck and a police car is 3 or 4.
Right, but I also look at the number of fires that we have per year too. And that-
Don't go there, don't go there.
No, I'm just saying it from the standpoint that people, when we talk about this, it's gonna be, we're talking to the public. People are gonna have feedback on these things, really no different than other issues that have feedback on. And I think if we come back to the town council with alternative A, B, and C, let's just say.
All right, well, I'm not gonna do it. If you guys want to chase that, have it. I'm not gonna come to you with. Well, I can assure you, use my, we get a fire department newsletter from the Volunteer Fire Department Association, or the Volunteer Fire Association. And there's lots of things we do around it. But for the same reason that we are telling you that we have problems with the equipment we currently own, I don't feel comfortable buying somebody else's problems in the arena that we operate in. And you just said something, I'm sorry I got a little frustrated with you, but we sat in a meeting about 5 or 6 years ago with an individual that said, well, nobody's died in a fire recently, so why are we even talking about fire?
That's not what I said.
I know that's not what you said, but the information is that don't spend a lot of money on a fire truck because maybe you don't need it for a couple months. So that, I don't follow that logic.
I'm only bringing it up because people may bring it up in discussion. Right? And we just have to be able to defend those issues as to what we're doing. So now we come to the town council, and we've got one alternative. And just for argument's sake, it costs report $750,000. All right. Then the question that comes back to the original discussion we had about the fire station. We've already gone through this extensive analysis with Mr. Sender relative to source of payment on this stuff. And those are important questions. And
Which are important questions?
how to handle it.
You've already done it.
I understand that,
Okay.
but some of this is going to have to be financed.
Correct.
And there's timing issues.
Correct.
And so when you come back to the 750, then it's going to have to plug into that analysis Sender's done for us with the specific how we're paying for all these things and how we're financing it.
But we've already done it. I mean, to the best of our ability, until we decide we're going to make a purchase, we won't know the exact numbers. And we have provided the town, for the last 30 years, we've provided the town numbers. So we're at the point now we have those numbers. We've talked to the financing guy, he's given us the nod and told us how we can pay for it. So I don't understand why we're back on those issues.
It's just, it's in an analysis, it's not that easy to follow for everybody. And I don't know if you looked at it or not, John, but you really don't get a sense of the cash flow movement of dollars for reserves and financing. It's there. All I'm saying is we're going to have to go an extra step in terms of our presentation. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. I just don't want to start back at square one. We're not going to blame Monopoly for a lot of years. I don't want to go back and go.
My calendar started last June.
I understand.
When I said we need a 5-year plan.
I understand we did it.
You agree?
Yes.
And we've gone through a lot of work on that.
Yes, we have.
And so I can't focus on the last 30 years. I can only focus on what we actually
I have no problem with your focus, but I just don't want to have to start over.
I don't think we have to.
Okay.
But until we have the exact number we're making the presentation, we say, all right, this is going to cost whatever. Plus, because obviously the $750,000 fire engine is not going to fit in our current facility. Right?
Yeah, that's, new truck.
All right, so you can't do one or the other.
We went to the rescue trucks the other day, we pulled somebody's pickup truck into our RC.
Right, well, it's cramped now. There's no place to build. Like 60, I mean, it's cramped now. If you're walking down, you're going to say, well, this is inadequate. Even for today's use, it's inadequate. I get all that. I'm just saying is, and again, we're looking at the 5-year capital plan. We're looking at fire, police, all, the streets, everything's in there. Now the analysis comes back and it just identifies these items, and here's where the source of funds is, off that 5-year plan, and that's how we're gonna pay for it. And that's as simple as it can, I mean, it's can't be more complicated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We've already done
So I don't understand, I really don't follow it. If we, the whole idea, the last 18 months we spent doing that, we know the numbers now. We don't know that this is gonna be $968,325.15, but we said we're gonna roughly spend $1 million more. The truck's the same line, so we've done that. Right. We had the council approval,
Right.
so I don't follow what you're trying to tell me.
There's a big chunk that has to finance. There's
Yes.
a timing on that because the way Carlos presented it to us is that financing that's currently out there already that we're passing along is going to has maturity dates. And then we would then roll this financing project in behind that one after that is paid off. All right?
Well, there are a couple of different ways we could pay for it.
Well, reserves are part of it too.
Yes.
But I can't tell you definitively until we see the final numbers, whether or not it all lines up.
Okay, but if the condition for this to proceed is that the affordability is not there, I don't follow. Because the affordability has been addressed with the category and with centers analysis and with the Volkswagen analysis. So to go back and say that affordability is a tripwire for this doesn't make sense to me. I don't follow you.
I'm only talking about it in the sense of how we're going to be discussing it at the town council meeting and how it's going to be presented. We're talking about the presentation here. I'm not trying to make it more complicated. Ultimately, not everybody's in the room is going to understand how the funds are flowing. Okay? And Carl's going to be part of that presentation. That's all I'm saying.
The other thing timing is, our view on the truck was figure out the station first, get that squared away. Once that's squared away, then we're gonna make a decision.
That's why by the time the truck gets there, the station will be.
That's the goal.
We'd like to dovetail that.
We don't want the truck to show up at the station for that.
No, that makes total sense.
That's a timing way.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. All right, we'll proceed on what we just discussed, FJ 628. Compressor, thankfully, the council approved that, so that's an order. That'll allow us to make use of that, SCBA equipment we got in there. For 100,000 plus on SCBA, the SCBA we got. Yes, either walking around, so it's getting a little bit better. I mean, if you read it,
I would just wait. I don't have to see it tonight.
okay. Fair enough. The next meeting, you guys, I hope you got that projection for the fire commission meetings. I think you set them up.
You did.
Okay, so we'll try to stay on that, once you guys say cover with that.
I probably won't be here on Tuesday or Wednesday night. Maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well,
Every second Monday I'll be here for the town council. So it'll be morning, and then the next week in the morning.
morning is better for you?
On Monday,
Oh, okay.
I'm really encouraged you here, so I'm here.
I could do Monday mornings.
That was it.
Well, the problem with Monday mornings with volunteer fire department is everybody works.
So do I, that's my problem.
Yeah. Well, we can revisit the meeting schedule. Do you want to try to set one tonight for the next meeting? That would be May.
So you're saying you can do Thursday too, Jen?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So Thursday, May 5th?
Yeah.
I'll be in South Carolina, my granddaughter's graduating.
Oh. Okay.
John, when you say you can't make it on Monday or Tuesday, Wednesdays, can you make it by Zoom for chance? I know nice you can.
But if you're on Zoom, I can make it.
Well, we will be,
Well, that's.
if that works. Maybe stay on that.
But you're saying the schedule.
How many am I allowed? Aren't you allowed just a certain number?
On our council meetings, I know we're only allowed to have 2 consecutive Zooms and then we have to be in person again. I don't think that applies to these, but
Okay, well, fine. Not that-
I don't know, I'm just surmising.
Just keep it on Tuesday.
Well, let's see, if you think you can make it on Zoom,
If I can make it on Zoom on Tuesday night, that's fine.
because this isn't, we're not voting on anything. So it could be, that I'll find out from Chris whether indeed a Zoom can work, and then we'll go from there.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
Okay, so
That's all I got. Let me ask you, hold on, go ahead. No, let me ask you if anybody from the crowd has any. Did you, maybe? Okay, so it's ours one. Oh, that's Chris, here.
Chris, do you have anything?
Charles,
You're muted.
You don't, it's